The art community, a large, popular, and creative community that has made its presence well known on the internet for the art that they post online and share with others. It is also known for, well, not having the most welcoming community. I know that those of you here have probably heard this a million times. The art community gets worse almost every time a controversy is mentioned or goes viral. Countless art critiques go over the insane amount of controversy that goes around, and I can say, as someone who is a young artist and still learning, you'd have to pay me more than $1 million to post my work on any site. Even YouTube feels like a challenge to me, and yet so far it's been the most peaceful when it comes to artists. I've noticed the excessive amount of bullying and harassment throughout this art community, and it honestly scares me to think I'll get hit with the same thing. Yes, there are some things in the community that needed to be taken more seriously, but some didn't deserve the hate. There are art styles such as mine that need improvement that seem to receive negative comments instead of true, constructive criticism. Young and old artists are not being treated fairly only because of their age. Death threats are being thrown around, harassments, art lore, and art fixing. At this point, the art community has become a pile of drama. The bad parts, that is. There are still good parts in this community, and I certainly don't want to attack the community I'm a part of, and partially a part of. I mean, I've only posted on YouTube, and that's all where I prefer to post. What I'm critiquing is the way some people handle these situations and how this hatred spreads like wildfire throughout the community. After all, there doesn't seem to be a day without some drama going around on the internet. And while, yes, I do consider myself part of the community, I certainly don't follow what some of these people do. I certainly won't harass someone or send death threats over a style or character I'm not a big fan of. In fact, I haven't really found a character or art style that I dislike. So hearing that people are getting so mad that they're causing people to quit the internet sounds bizarre to me. And it also makes me afraid to know that this is possible to happen to anyone. Indeed, harassment is always going to be a part of the internet, and it sadly isn't going to get any better. But there are still some things in the community that I notice that are so outlandishly stupid that it kind of concerns me and makes me worried if people on the internet even think about what they comment on people's posts, or are thinking that they're people at all. Hello artists, this is Artistic Sam, and welcome to my channel. For my video, I'm going to try my best to sound more lively, as well as having better audio and drawing. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of art channel this is going to be, so I'm going to dive into the bit of the controversy surrounding the community. Quickly, I wanted to ask if any of you have ever experienced harassment on the internet for ever posting art. If you don't feel comfortable sharing in the comments, that's fine. I only ask for those of you who are comfortable enough to share your story and to show others the harm that they cause when they harass others. I'm just wondering how long the effects of this type of bullying have on people, and even what it can do to their mentality and their art. So if you feel like it, you are free to share with others. And so with that, today I will describe the art community's drama and tell you about the two types of drama that I've noticed within the community. These debates and accusations and bullying mostly happen on TikTok and Twitter, but they do expand out onto YouTube and cause internet-wide attention to these issues. Without further ado, let's get into the video, and thank you for coming to my channel. Okay, so for those of you who have just heard about the drama in the art community, I'll list some of the common dramas that have spread around. Now, quick note, I don't have any other social media apps other than YouTube, so all this information is from other people on YouTube who do commentary and art rants on this drama. So if I miss anything, I do apologize. Dramas that are very popular on apps relate to the race of characters, art fixing, hating on people's styles, hating on an artist's age and the work they do, harassing people because of their art style, and controversy about popular artists. I feel like I have missed a few, but these are the main things you'll see in the art community when it comes to drama, and it seems to only get worse the more you dig into them. I mean, this is just the very tip of the iceberg, and the details in some of these controversies are so complex that I don't think anyone has truly heard the full story. While some are more simpler than others, they still leave marks in the community, and it's very common to see this type of hate being remembered for months, and even years afterwards. I think most people have heard about more popular controversies such as the Creepshow art controversy, Hopeless Peaches, the rendering process art style on TikTok, Z Fixes art, Just a Robot, Madame, Toby, Gacha creators, Leo Convoy, Omnia, Bibsy Pop, PewDiePie had his moment, Jelly Art Style is being hated on, Pumpkin Gentleman, controversial furries. Yeah, there's a lot. And I, for one, have not been there for all of them, while some of you out there might have watched it all go down, and it certainly is a lot to go through. I feel as if many of these controversies started over very serious things or very petty and small things. When it comes to internet drama, I don't try to encourage it or stop it. I do understand some things are quite harmful, but drawing attention to these dramas often causes more of an issue, especially when it comes to cyberbullying people off the internet for no good reason. It's awful, of course, yet people still participate in it. Instead of constructive criticism, it's bullying. Instead of solving issues with a problematic person, it's insulting their art instead of dealing with the allegations themselves and pushing the controversy further. Obviously, the art community isn't the only one having dramas like this. All fandoms and communities have their moments. And nothing is crazier than the community finding controversial people or people related to them. I think it's fair to also admit that every platform is going to be toxic. When you're posting online, you should expect some harassment and expect some people to not be the most friendly with you. However, this shouldn't excuse their terrible actions and horrible comments. It's pretty easy to scroll by something you don't like or click off of it onto a new video. However, I think some people are more focused on voicing their thoughts rather than keeping them to themselves. Yes, some people do need to be called out for their behavior, and some criticism won't hurt. That isn't exactly what happens in the art community. There are lots of commentary YouTubers who talk about these issues, and they're fast once something comes up. Many are artists themselves, and many are not. On YouTube, the general premise of their videos is to always support the victim, and even getting both sides if they can. However, most do just comment on the issue, which is perfectly fine. I can't blame them for doing so, but not everyone seems to be dealing with the issue, until it becomes so widespread and so toxic that the person usually leaves or posts an apology video that doesn't do them justice. There is a lot behind these controversies that the media may look over or just have zero clue about, which will cause an issue when it comes to controversy within the community. There are two forms of these controversies: controversy around a person or controversy around an art style. Controversy surrounding a person is primarily focused on their past actions or more recent or their behavior towards others and artists. This controversy concerns the person or creator and their actions, which ultimately falls along the lines of harassment, grooming kids, fixing art, and even saying controversial things. There becomes a bigger problem whenever they're exposed to others about what they have done. Videos pop up on YouTube, especially if they're really well known, and comments on Twitter seem to follow them, usually harassing the person or watching as the controversial figure defends or apologizes for their actions. The majority of the time, it always ends with them leaving the internet or fading into the background of the internet as people stop watching or interacting with their content. Or in some very rare cases, these accusations against them can be proven false, and the internet will let them go if they're clearly proven innocent or their apology is good, which I notice is very rare on the internet, but it happens nonetheless. Now, when there's accusations that arise from a certain person, if they're in the art community, their art also gets attacked, mainly because it's now deemed problematic, as the creator is also problematic. Now, when it comes to this situation on whether it's right to bully an artist's art if the artist is controversial and the art isn't, I believe that the art style should be left alone, and we focus on the person who is the main problem. Now, if both the artist and art are problematic, yes, we can critique the art as it's part of the issue. But attacking the art over the artist when it comes to the artist being problematic almost seems as if people are straying away from the main issue. Personally, whenever a horrible allegation about a person arises, most just want to get it over with, but that's not really what happens. I prefer to have little to nothing to do with these controversies. However, if a YouTube video pops up about a creator I know, I will have my interest and look into it. That's all I have for engagement with any of these art dramas. especially when it comes to a person being the main problem. I think when this happens in the art community, the best thing to do is acknowledge what they've done and try to solve it in a more polite way. I know I'm young, but I feel like if we solve issues the civil way, there won't be a total blow-up on the community and the internet. The controversy around a person also includes controversy around art style. After all, the artist made the art style. Art is a reflection of a person's creativity and thoughts, no matter what it is. So whenever an art style is being attacked, in some ways, it's basically the same as attacking the artists themselves. Controversial art is nothing new. However, in the art community, controversy often surrounds an art piece. I'd say every art style are often attacked as much as controversial people. One factor is the anatomy. Most commonly known on TikTok as the rendering process, this art lore refers to drama with an art style usually not being up to standards for most people, or looking way off from normal looking, such as this incident or this one. What you'll instantly notice is that these artists' artistic choice has been viewed very negatively, even though the artists themselves never did anything wrong. Some of these art controversies aren't offensive or wrong in any social sense, rather it's more of the opinion of the other people that cause this whole art lore thing. Sometimes it's a choice or character trait that becomes hated, and when this happens, it becomes popular for art fixers to come along. Basically, it's when random people on the internet fix art they want to see, and while it could be used as respectful criticism of the artist, this isn't that at all. It's bullying and harassment. This art fixing shows the artist that their style isn't welcomed and that they should do this instead. Art can be like this, but there is art that does need to be called out, as there can be offensive and harmful things in some art that does need to be called out and understood why it's problematic. However, if it was unintentional, then the artist should only be taught politely what is wrong, instead of being deemed as evil and bullied. That's how the internet deals with people they despise. They can't physically punch or harm a person, or go up to them and spit mean things in their face. Instead, cyberbullying is basically the internet's way to get rid of people they don't like, even if the person didn't do anything wrong. There are many instances of that occurring in the art community when it comes to art. The ones I just mentioned are a few, but there is also an issue with racial characters, such as what skin color a non-human character would be, or what ethnicity they are most like. And I will say this from the bottom of my heart that I don't care what race or ethnicity you want to make your character, all is perfectly fine with me. But making it an issue online tends to cause more harm than good. If an artist sees a character in a certain way and it does not support any problematic ideals, it's fine. However, some people on the internet will always see things as problematic. It's what they view in their own eyes, and with that issue comes the dreadful art fixers. I have spoken about them before, but here's a deeper look into them. These art fixers are people who fix characters on what they see as correct and want to be deemed less problematic. This in turn makes the fixers seem kinda rude in giving the artist advice they didn't want or need. This also starts when art is deemed controversial. People want to fix it for some reason that I don't fully understand. Maybe they want to seem like a better person for doing so, or maybe they want to express their feelings towards the art. This internet drama stuff is something that I will never fully understand, and one of the biggest things I'll never understand is why people cyberbully innocent people. Then again, it's the internet and there are no consequences for their actions. These are the two biggest issues within the art community and its drama. I'd say that all of the art in the art community falls under the person being controversial or their art, and the two can easily go together. If you look up on YouTube about the art community, you'll instantly get hit with many types of drama. And there's a lot. And with all this drama, it seems unavoidable. It certainly can be avoided if you just ignore it, but when it happens to you, there is no ignoring what happens. No one wants to be cyberbullied online, no one wants to be the target, and no one wants to be the new art lore. But it happens. There is a clear dark side to the internet, and the art community has certainly dived deep into it. There isn't any stopping people from turning out to be horrible or people bullying art styles online. However, I believe there are a few little things you can do. Ignoring it is one thing, and it's kinda what I do at times when I just don't want to hear about it. But if it's an innocent art style that is being harassed, why not try and give your best supportings to it? The little things can help, and I bet giving a little love will not only help the creator, but you as well. Yeah, you can't really change other people's opinions online. That is their opinion. Can't stop artists from going back and forth at each other's throat, and you can't help it if someone hates your art style. Once something is on the internet, it will stay, and people will remember. Even if it's many years in the future, you might find an old tweet or an old video about a controversy, and you might go, oh yeah, that happened. Because in the end, what do people get from this? Maybe justice for a person who's been horrible to someone online or creepy, but it can also end with more struggle between the victim and the oppressor if there is even an oppressor in the first place. Because some stories are simply made up, and harassing art styles. The only thing you're getting out of those is hurting the creator's feelings and causing them long-term damage. Because what you say on the internet is taken to heart. What you say on the internet is really how you feel. Because there are no consequences. So, with no consequences, why not just say what you really want to say? But there are some things you need to keep quiet about. Scroll on, look past works that you don't like. I know some people choose not to do that, instead choosing to be unfavorably vocal about things. It's what starts these controversies to begin with. If a person is deemed controversial, don't interact with them. If you don't like an art style, don't interact. Social media wants you to interact, and while any publicity can be good publicity, it isn't. It's damaging. Don't do things that will start unnecessary backlash and harassment. If there is something really bad and that needs to be called out, okay, but don't go off on something else unrelated to it, or try and fix it. Report it, block it, those buttons are there for a reason. And yes, for rage bait, scroll on. Don't get caught up in the anger because even rage bait causes harm. The internet causes harm, but it can also spread good. Still, the internet is the reason why so many artists can connect and relate to one another. The art community wouldn't be possible without the internet. The positives and the negatives. The internet has inspired many people, including myself, to start learning how to draw. I can say as someone whose first drawing was inspired by something I saw on the internet. This digital space has been the biggest help to me, and I know that it has been a big help to others as well. I don't think the internet is the main reason for this problem in the art community. AI also has been a rising problem for artists, and there certainly is a war between the art community and AI. There are some ways to solve it, like making poison art like this YouTuber Lavender Town did, and there are mistakes AI can make that you can see for yourself. But it is getting better, and the concern of artists being replaced certainly feels like a real threat. Well, I suppose people using paper and pencil don't have as much to worry about with AI as digital artists do, but it's still a concern. What I'm saying is that the constant bickering of artists, art styles, art lore, and AI stems from the toxicity of the internet. The people in the community are the problem. But it's not to say getting rid of the internet or the community as a whole. People just need to learn to be more polite and do the right thing. Even if they're so enraged, everyone just needs to take a break from the screen and draw. That's always fun. So, the moral of the art community, please be a good person. That's probably the best way any of this toxicity will ever be getting better. And always support a good artist, beginner or advanced, no matter their age, and if they're doing something wrong, don't completely explode on them. Certainly make them aware of it, and if that starts to become a serious problem...
Here we go again.
Thank you for watching. I understand this is a bit different from my past 2 videos. I'm trying to experiment with other video types. I'm always open to video and art critique, so if there's any you have, I'm happy to listen. Anyways, thank you artists, and I hope to post soon.